Here we go.
What's up, y'all? This is Scooby from Athletic Development and Performance Training, ADAPT for short. And today we're going to talk about functional strength, functional conditioning, functional strength training. You know, that word functional. So it's gone all over the place. So we're just going to go real quick and say functional. What is functional? We want to just stand up, walk, run, and throw things. That's pretty much what functional is. Make that work. If you can make that work, make that body move like that, you're good to go. Then we can go move on to the other side of the spectrum of some other functional. Okay, so FST, it started off as functional strength training, but it's not so easy as I thought. It's going to be now functional strength tactics, because I have to be able to implement traditional training that's been with us for decades and decades. And then I got to be able to dose it in, or we have to be able to dose it in little by little, the true functionality of things. So the challenge is, how do we make that a hybrid? And it's possible. It's happening here. It's possible to grasp it and they'll dose it. What is that? If you try to do it all at once, people are going to be like, I don't like to do that. We haven't done this exercise in a long time. So it can't be that. It's not going to happen. It's not working. But what is working is you implement it little by little. You start off big. You start off in a year. That's just your year program, or whatever it is, and then you break it down into your months, so in quarters. So you say, okay, in the next 3 months, this is what I want to implement. It changes every day. I'm not going to tell you 8 weeks, 9 weeks. It could be 3 months and 2 weeks. It changes from person to person. It changes every time. So I can't give you an exact date. It happens. It's as it's going on. It's live. You have to be able to figure it out as it's going live, because you have 10 people doing 10 different things, or the same exercise, but it's just different, applied a little different, or the progressions are a little different. But everything is fairly new, so you can't go to somewhere and look this stuff up. You know, so a lot of names that you see and abbreviations, it's because we're making this stuff up. Like, you can Google it, you can YouTube it, and these movements no one's ever put a name on them. We've always followed this other chart. So, functional strength tactics. So we draw them in with a little dose of functionality, and that's more during the end of that 1 year or quarterly, or in this case we go week to week now. So let's say Monday I'll do traditional with a little bit of hybrid stuff, and then Tuesday we move on to something a little bit more technical, what would be technical functional strength. Okay, so be a little bit slower, and then during towards the end of the week, then now you implement like swings and slings and movement, and actually going into locomotion while you do these particular exercises or movements. So basically go into strength. You'll see some bilateral stuff to please people and whatever, and then we can now change that bilateral into now unilateral and strength, and then now we go into let's go swing this puppy around. But yeah, that's how you kind of you think about of functional strength tactics that we have in the gym now, along with other programs. What else do we have on board for today? Let's see. We can talk about how do we get to that flexibility zone. We've been stretching out. We'll call it stretching. So now we're in the stretching, people. So stretching, static stretching, we know it doesn't work. We already know that. We established the fact we don't give it to our athletes before they work out and stuff like that, unless you're gymnasts and other specialized. But stretching, mobility doesn't work. And I'll tell you why it doesn't work. You've been stretching out for every week, every day, and look, I can reach here now. I can get this movement better now. But forbid that you miss a week or 2 weeks, you're back to square one. You are back to square one. Like, oh, I couldn't do mobility this week. Now you got to start all over. Like that's got to tell you something already. It's a red flag. So what do we do in order to get our members into this position or a new range of motion? Simple. You've been doing it for years, but how have you been applying it? That's the question. MFR, myofascial release. The foam roll, the big foam roll thing. Foam roll, unfortunately, doesn't work. Might work for the people that are first starting off, first week. They try it out. They do some myofascial on their own for a week. But after that foam was useless. It's useless. It's useless. You're wasting $21 and $19.99 on that foam roll, and you can get a PVC pipe, which you're gonna have to step up to the next level anyways, at Home Depot for $2.50, 4-inch pipe, same diameter. If it's a little hard, throw a towel over it or a shirt to cover up that. But you want to be able to get into the fascia. So you MFR before you start anything. Okay, so everyone's already familiar with MFR. Okay, what you do with it? Do you want to keep rolling over and over and over the fascia? Nah, that also hasn't been working properly either. Feels good, but it doesn't work properly. You want to find that. You want to find that, for a lack of a better term, we call it adhesions. We know what that is. Well, we'll call that knot. You find that spot and you stay there. Stay there between 2 to 3 minutes. You stay there. You find it, you stay there, it'll open up. So people call the effect of, I feel like it's a flower opening up, or it's warm water, that kind of stuff. You'll see it start to open up, and you find the other target on the opposite side. And then you work on yourself like that MFR. Now, once you finish your MFR, your myofascial release, right? You can start from the bottom up, from your feet, all the way up. There's no bad spots, okay? Now that you've done that, now it's really good time to introduce your corrective exercise. So, let me just tie this in together. Myofascial release, great before you work out. What are you going to do right after you do myofascial release is a huge factor. If you're going to go 100 miles an hour and you just found a new range of motion with that MFR, I don't think so, man. I don't think so. That neurological path has not been connected properly. So you're going to go 100 miles an hour on the new range of motion. Peace out, buddy. Peace out. So you want to do MFR, corrective exercise, nice slow control, isolations. Just go with the actual, again, back to functional movement, corrective exercises, not this old diagram that we still keep following. And then now you do that for several weeks. I can't tell you how long. Everyone's different. I've had someone that can pick it up in 2 days. I have people that can pick it up in 2 weeks, and I have someone that takes 3-4 weeks. So I can't tell you that. That's going to be a coaching eye. What are you looking for? You're looking for perfection. Can it always be better? Yes. If you could think it could be better by that much, then you do it. You fix it and don't go over till you know they can do that much better. Don't go up. Just leave them there. But yeah, corrective exercise, done it for several weeks. Now you mimic the same corrective exercises several weeks later. Now with a little bit more authority, so a little bit more dynamic or speed. And then you go into a little bit heavier stuff. But you have to introduce that new range of motion and inject it a little bit, dose and dose and dose with a little bit of strength. Not only that, you have to induce it also with, I don't even want to get into this rabbit hole, but it's a neurological pathway. It's a new neurological pathway, or the original one that used to be in, okay? And then after all this dysfunctional movements, you've gone back to, whatever it is. But you want to go back to your original form, or find that new range of motion, strengthen it with corrective exercise, not 100 miles an hour exercise or heavy ones. Then you go into the next one. The next step will be speed it up a little bit, and then go into, but that happens week to week. Like I keep telling you, that happens weeks to week. You can't just go into it like that. You'll go back to square one. You will be breaking your head trying to figure out, what did I do wrong? Why is this person, we were doing so good, and now they're like, well, if it's not functional, they're not going to keep it for so long. No one keeps it for so long. So if you're not functional, you're not going to keep it. If you're functional, you can work out 1 week, work out the following week. So now you got 2 weeks. You worked out 4 times in a month and you're functional, you're going to keep all of it. Most of it, you're not doing anything. If you're just sitting on the couch, it's a different story. But you're going to keep all that functionality because you're moving fluid now. You're moving fluid. You're not specializing in anything. You're not creating these dysfunctions. And, I can't believe he's saying the word dysfunction. Come on, guys. Were you guys that sensitive? Function, and if it's not functioning, you're dysfunctional. We're not saying you're crazy or anything like that. It's just, that's how it is. Everybody's getting a little bit too sensitive here. So enough about that. I had to jab something there, but yeah, I had to jump something in there. So basically, go through that step process. Everyone's different. Make sure that you follow that protocol. MFR does not really mean that you're ready to rock and roll, especially if you found a new range of motion. And you will if you do it correctly. You'll always find a new range of motion. Treat yourself every week. You could do it every other day, really. Lower body one day, upper body the next. Or just left side or right side, like somebody mentioned the other day. I'd like to do the right side one day. All right, cool. Whatever works for you, There are no rules, man. Here, that's what it is. We've been following these charts and all these diagrams and asking the upper echelon, and it's wrong. It's wrong. And I'll have another IGTV for you. All right, it's gonna be a little bit more like rated R. It's coming out soon on the whole take on functional fitness and functional training and functional patterns, functional movements, the real deal. So stay tuned for that. All right. This is once again Scooby from Adapt, and I'll see y'all soon.